Target Trading Academy.
Good afternoon, everybody. Preston Vogl here with your Micros Market recap. Today is Tuesday, November 23rd. It is 4:20 p.m. Eastern Time. You missed me yesterday. I actually didn't give a video, but what a day yesterday. We had new all-time high in the micro ES, and then the sellers decided to kick in and drive it below the range from Friday. It was a very interesting day, a ton of price action, a lot of traps set for the little guy there and get hammered, I would say. But with our methodologies, you probably would have been done before any of that happened and walked away a winner. Let's get into oil here. Micro oil, we did open up just ever so slightly from yesterday's range high here. Quickly rejected that level, made a move up, settled for about 30 minutes or so, consolidating before they decided to break out in the buying direction. And then, would you look at that, a stellar opportunity based off of our HVA levels for an entry short that would have driven you a ton of revenue, depending on how you took it, or if you even took it for that matter. Remember, everything is conditional based off of the student and what they do with our education. We do not tell you how, or we don't tell you where to take trades. We give you the tools per se of trading, the education, the knowledge that we have here, and then you are the master of your universe, you could say, in determining your success. So for the most part, though, we did end top heavy in oil. Rejected that opening severely. We didn't even attempt to really go back into it. We did have this one opportunity here, but based off of our HVA levels that we give out, we would have looked to go with the buyers in that regard, and rightly so. Now, gold opened a gap down. I don't care about any of the news in regards to, inflation and whatnot. Yeah, inflation is terrible, but reality is banks will do what they want with the markets. They drove it down in the overnight. It started going down during I would say the European Open. And when it got to its pit open, they completely rejected the notion of going back towards its range yesterday and decided to keep going down. They decided at one point before the equities opened to attempt to break up higher, but quickly the seller stepped in and they decided they could not get back to that range, ultimately settling just below its open for the day. So it is still down for these past 2 days. Now, the ES, if you don't recall, had that all-time high yesterday, quickly followed by a ton of selling, surpassing the low from Friday. So quite a large range. As for today, not as large of a range, but still quite a lot of action going on. Like any equity, we do see that fight, you could say, between the buyers and sellers. But we did open in balance, so knowing who was in charge at that moment was pretty up in the air until around, I'd say 10 o'clock or so, when they made this high here and pretty much just decided to reject any notion of going higher. Now, they did come back down to their opening area and they slammed it hard. And then an hour before lunch is when they really started to rally. The buyers started to rally, and they made it back into that HVA for a little bit above, but ultimately they settled just above the opening. So a good 4 points or so above the opening. Not a ton of difference in that range, but as you can see, they did make it back into that HVA where they opened. Tons of opportunities for entries based off of our HVA methodologies throughout the day. If you were even there, most people are pretty good with a couple trades before they leave. Now the Dow, you might see that we have it up instead of NASDAQ. That's just for now. That might change tomorrow. It's been that way for a few days now. But the Dow here, tons of opportunities off of our levels that we give out the night before. As you can see, just 5 right there. Well, technically 6 right there within the first 30 minutes or so. Today was by far my favorite market to watch and to trade. It was just a lot more responsive in terms of those levels than the ES. The ES was a little too whippy for me. However, not a ton of expansion outside of the Dow. It pretty much just settled inside for the entire day, ultimately going back to the point of control from its range yesterday. So it did make a little bit of a higher range, you could say, from its close, but ultimately, in terms of expansion of where it went, not a whole lot of movement comparatively to yesterday. Now, getting into trades for today, I'm just going to show one. Here we have an entry from Curtis. As you can see, this is the micro oils market. It is an advanced entry at our HVA levels. So we're not only looking for one direction per se, per edge. That's pretty much all I'm going to say about that. However, it is further along in the education of how to read the markets. It comes with time and understanding of what you're looking for, mainly context, I will say, of what is going on. And this was appropriately read as a live trade, $20, nothing to scoff at. 20 extra bucks in your day, it'll help a lot. But that's mainly to build confidence in trading in a live environment. It is completely different in terms of what, a lot of us say the pucker factor when you go live compared to on sim, because sim, it doesn't hurt you like a live trade may hurt you. And that's why we advocate for training on sim with our methodologies, learning them, treating them like they are live accounts, because if you can't take it seriously there, you won't take it seriously with the live money, and it'll come back and bite you in the butt. So going from the sim, taking that serious, and then transitioning to live, starting with the micros, is very important because you build that confidence in the environment of trading live, as it's serious. Yeah, you got to treat it like life and death, because that's exactly what it is. No one's going to care about whether you win or lose, for that matter. They'd actually rather take your money than let you take their money, right? It's a dog-eat-dog world out there, and if you don't take your education seriously, it only is going to hurt you in the end.